name's Isaac. I go by the moniker That Punk Isaac on social media. I am a videographer, a graphic designer, and I just started doing music this year.
Okay.
I do a lot.
How did you start making flyers?
I always liked doodling on paper, like comic covers, like Marvel, like Spider-Man and X-Men. I loved X-Men, so I'm a big X-Men fan. And then I want to say like 2015, right when we graduated, well before we graduated high school, I just got Photoshop and I started messing around with wrestling posters because I'm a big wrestling fan. So I started messing around with wrestling posters, and it turned out I was like, okay, I was looking at YouTube videos and I taught myself that. We saw a local wrestling show in Jamaica, House of Glory Wrestling, and it had Rey Mysterio on it. If you don't know Rey Mysterio, he's like the biggest luchador like ever. So I made a fan-made poster for the event, and they actually used it, and they were a big fan of it. So I felt like it was a good platform to start off showing my art. So after 2015, I started doing more and more posters for events like that, and I started actually like getting noticed on the community, on the like combat sports and like wrestling community in New York. So like once I did that, I went around to like other wrestling promotions, and I started doing it, and it took off for a good year. It was a good start because everyone was using like the same crappy posters, so I tried throwing in like art and like abstract feel into it, and like movie posters because I love cinematography and films and all that. So I tried mixing like posters with film, and I don't know, it just blew up in the scene, and that's how it started in 2015.
Did you have one company that was like your favorite to work for?
Probably House of Glory. Yeah, I've done work for when I started. Is that what you mean? Like when I started?
No, yeah, like the years, like is there like
throughout the years, House of Glory, I guess, is like the top promotion in New York. But like, I've gotten the chances, I've gotten the opportunities to design for like promotions in like Chicago and Florida, and I think late 2016, I started working with Evolve Wrestling, right before the whole collaboration they have with the WWE, which is like the gold mine of wrestling. So I did work with Evolve, and that kind of blew up on social media, which spread opportunities online for like AEW in Chicago and California and Seattle. All my artwork was going around like the whole scene in America, so it was pretty cool. How
did you transition into recording the shows? From making the poster to now you're recording the show.
So I'm a big wrestling fan, like I said, and before I even did the artwork, I always wanted to get some way, shape, or form into the wrestling business, even if it's like recording a show and recording a whole event. So I DM'd the wrestling promotion that I did the poster for, House of Glory Wrestling. I DM'd them asking if there's any spot for either commentary or camera work. And I like bothered them for like a good 5 days in a row, and they just finally caved in. They were like, "Sorry, we can't do anything. Please." It was I kind of got the vibe like, "Please stop contacting us." So I looked into that was like before the whole graphic design thing. So after I DM'd them, I think the week after was when they announced the show. I did that. And they liked that, so I used that and I just ran with that. But when I got into video, I think it was the show after that, I did research onto who does their videos, and it was Big Hodge. Shout out to Big Hodge. Big Hodge got me into the scene really after the whole graphic design thing, because I hit up who recorded their shows, even though they said no. I kind of did a loophole, so I looked up who recorded their shows, and I asked if they needed a partner to help them film, and they said yeah, because they had no one. They literally had no one. So I did that, and I started off doing ringside video work like that for House of Glory. I remember the first time I went to their headquarters, and they were surprised because they wouldn't expect like a fan to go all the way to their headquarters and say hi and like tell them about the video work. They didn't expect me, because when the owner first saw me, he was like, "Wait a minute, we said no to you about opportunities, but then you're here."
You cut out the middleman.
Yeah, I did, and Big Hodge just once I got into his team, just the rest is history.
Then you went from taking the video of the shows, then you edited highlight videos.
Yeah.
Now you've started like your own photography business.
I want to say after a good like 6 months, I got the gist of how things went in the recording aspect. I didn't even know how to use a camera, but now I got really into it. I've went through sleepless nights editing and teaching myself stuff on YouTube. After just helping recording stuff ringside, I actually started to produce my own work on the side, like music videos and highlight reels, and they liked it, so they put me in that position for some time in the editing behind the scenes work, and that kind of branched off to getting opportunities for Game Changer Wrestling in New Jersey. I went to Rhode Island for Wrestling Has a Tomorrow, and just like, I don't know, it's just the power of social media. It's so like insane when you think about it, because you don't expect it. I didn't expect it.
What are you doing now with HOG?
Now in House of Glory, I'm one of the head media producers and editors there. So I do everything on their website. I try to help out their whole design outlook on social media, as well as like flyers and little clips, like highlights and stuff. I'm actually the one like behind the scenes producing the content that they want to present to people worldwide, and it's pretty cool. I've been doing also like working with the talent like in person, which is kind of scary, because a couple months ago I recorded they call little advertisements vignettes in wrestling. So I shot a commercial, a vignette with a wrestler named Loki, and Loki's my favorite wrestler, so I was like shook. So he flew in from out of town, and I think I stood in the headquarters till like midnight for him to come back, and then we shot like a good 12-second video, and it took like 30 minutes. So yeah, we shot a 12-second video in 30 minutes, and just getting knowledge from the people you look up to. It's very, very, very humble to do, and it's just, I get nervous, but at the same time I'm like, you know what, like this is kind of cool. I'm doing what I like, and I hope people see it. And the day after I released it, I didn't sleep that day. By the way, I didn't sleep that day. I edited it I edited it from midnight to like 5 a.m. and I released it at noon, and it blew up on Twitter, that commercial. And it's a great feeling, I guess, like, because that's someone that you look up to, and the fact that I have like a little impact on a silly like event that's local, that's mind-blowing for me, because I'm a part of that. You never know what you could do on social media, which is insane.
It's like, social media is crazy, man.
It is.
So now you've recently started in the music industry. Tell us about that.
I took a break from wrestling, I want to say early last year, 2017, and I started doing video work for stuff outside of wrestling. I wanted to break my barrier. So I started doing like concerts and events and parties here in New York. And my first experience, of course, a friend we went to high school with, Eddie. Eddie was throwing a trap party in a building that actually used to throw wrestling events, that I found out. But yeah, he threw a trap party, and there was a good like crammed into a small space. It was like 800 people, and I did like highlight videos for the parties and stuff. And then I did my research into the scene, and it seemed like nobody was doing that, especially on the level that I was doing. It was like everything's like cell phone, you know. But I wanted it just brings out a whole new advertising complex once you go into doing stuff you're not expecting. So as not expecting, I kind of blew up in the party scene now. And then I think event after event, they started bringing in like actual performers, like Elijah the Boy and a bunch of other artists. I did that for a couple months. I want to say 11. I did it for 11 months, and just the stuff behind the scenes didn't go through the way I thought it would. I mean, they did pay me, but I just felt like weird because like I grew up listening to like Nirvana and Red Hot Chili Peppers, not like you know, Gucci, you know, like so the scene wasn't for me really, even though people like knew who I was. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't what made me happy. So I kind of drifted away from recording the whole party scene because a lot of stuff was like done, like drinks, all these other like pills and stuff. I never did that, so I stepped away from that. And then but I did meet a lot of people from the scene, the party scene. So I got to meet a group called Half Sound, who lives like a couple blocks away from me that I just found out. Carlisle, Sean, and AJ, and they produce music. And I hung out with them for a while, and it was inspiring to see like this young group my age producing such high quality music. Like they do like from R&B to hip hop to pop, they do everything. I've been hanging out with them for like half a year now, and like every day it's fun, you know, you could be yourself and it's comfortable. So like growing up to music, it's a big deal, and I decided I just wanted to keep doing what made me happy, and music ended up being that. So I did a couple of instrumentals, then I finally did a track that I did that's like has like a lo-fi R&B vibe called Funny, and I released it just for fun, and then everyone in the scene heard it, in the party scene that I stepped away from. So once they saw that, they were like, oh my god, this guy does everything. But and honestly, it just, at the end of the day, you want to do what makes you happy, and that kind of like felt refreshing because I never done music in my life, like professionally recorded. I used to play guitar when I was little, but yeah. Before I did music, I also wanted to do like designs for other stuff besides wrestling posters and events. So I got in contact with a lot of artists, and I started doing cover art. It was surprisingly good. I didn't know it was good because I knew nothing about like trap. You know, I know about hip hop. I don't know about trap and the whole scene that they have. So I started doing that. I tried getting as creative as I could get, which is pretty cool about trap because you can be as creative as you want and people like it. So I started doing album covers, and I think I'm gonna keep doing that because it's a good way of like consistently doing something different, because every artist is different. Like most of them, they might have the same sound on the radio, but like every artist is different. So I try to be a big part of that professional look they want to get, and how they want to, I guess, present themselves publicly. Like if there's a fun vibe, you want to have like a fun Tumblr-y kind of like, I guess, like vibe that makes you have a vivid look. And then if it's dark, you obviously want to have like a grunge look. So I like being very into talking and communicating with artists for their artwork, because I think that means a lot. Artwork is a lot of it means a lot. What I'm trying to say is you might not like expect something from what you're doing and how big of an impact it could be. You just want to find your niche, and most importantly, just do what makes you happy, you know? And there's nothing that's impossible as long as you learn, and as long as you put your mind into it and constantly research. I think anything's possible. Yeah, expect the unexpected.
That's dope.
I feel like that would be like a good ending for the class or something. So the teacher would be like, oh my